South India's #1 travel brand. You know you are special when you're with GT Holidays.
Milky Mist Premium Ice Cream.
How much people tell you have to be thick-skinned or don't take things personally. When you're a newcomer, when you're starting off, you do take things personally. I was very thin, I was very skinny, and I remember the film came out and people were just trolling me left, right and center, saying, you know, she's like skin on bones, you know, she looks so bad, and I was getting skinny shamed. So if I am mean to somebody or if I react to unkindness with unkindness, and that's not to say you don't stand up for yourself. You stand up for yourself. You call people out on, hey, this is not okay. But I don't believe in tit for tat. I have seen more male rivalries than female rivalries. It's just that it's easier to believe that women are cattier and all of these tabloid terms we hear, no? In all the films I've worked together, whenever there have been like multiple, you know, male actors, they are all the ones like, you know, no, I'm going to steal this scene. Only thing that helps is if you're a star kid. Otherwise, if your father is a cinematographer or an action director or a choreographer, it does not, I mean, if it helped, then I would have gotten my break or my first Hindi film so much sooner. That if the girl does a better job or like if she's kind of overpowering in some scenes and all of that, the male actor has the power to, you know, chop at the edit table. Rajinikanth sir was nice to me when I was like a young, fresh actor, you know, foraying into the world of cinema. And he was so, you know, he had such words of encouragement. Then I worked with Talapati Vijay, again, a very encouraging actor. Chian Vikram. So, yeah, so I've gotten lucky so far. I hope this lucky streak continues. He's been absolutely lovely. He is, he's this great energy to have on set where, again, he has the sweetest thing to say. Vicky is not Vicky the actor for me, you know. He's my oldest friend actually. I've known him since I was 1. Wow. He was older obviously, but yeah, my oldest friend.
It's not easy to make a space for yourself in the film industry, especially where there are so many people labeling you and tagging you. But if there's someone who has managed to do it like a pro and with all her honesty, it has to be Malavika Mohanan, who joins me today only on UnTAGged. Hi Malavika, how have you been?
Hi, what a lovely introduction.
Thank you so much. I genuinely feel that about you and so many more actors I see today, that, you know, it's very easy to pull someone down, very easy to just pass a comment which you think is a passing comment, but it's very difficult to, despite all of that noise, to make a space for yourself, to make a name for yourself, and you have managed to do that. And I know you don't consider 2011 to be your start, but you have been around for a while and it's not easy to be relevant for these many years. How has this journey been for you?
I would say that it's been in phases. Like for me, a lot of the last few years have been about Tamil cinema. You know, I worked there consecutively, and it's only in the last year or two that I've forayed into, you know, I've forayed into Telugu now. I'm working on my first Telugu project with Prabhas sir, and that's also because I was waiting for the right offer to, like, Telugu's become such a big industry now. As big as Bollywood, if not bigger, in terms of economics, in terms of reach, in terms of popularity, in every sense, right? As an actor, it's very important to keep up with the times and to know to not put down anything and to know when to adapt, you know, which is something I've been trying to do, because it doesn't matter where you work now, which industry you work now in. If it's a good film, it will have its audience and it will get its reach. Because people have that awareness now because of OTT, because of social media. So language is not a boundary anymore. So it's a good time, especially it's a good time to be a female actor. So yeah, now is when, you know, like Yudhra is like a Bollywood film. I'm working on a Telugu film. So this is that phase where I'm like hopping across industries. So it doesn't feel like I've been in one place for too long. The last few years have been kind of, you know, I've been moving places. So it doesn't feel feels fresh and new. Correct. And diving into a new experience and industry every time.
I don't know how you take it as, but there have been moments I have read articles that have called you underrated or have called you underutilized, have said that you have a lot of potential and we would love to see more of that in films, or maybe the roles are written in a way where the potential doesn't come out. Have you come across such articles, and how do you take it as? Because when actors are called underrated, they are quite happy because they feel that okay, people feel that we have much more to offer and maybe we are not there yet.
So when people say underutilized, I understand where it comes from, because when you're a part of, these big films where you're there as the female actor, but you don't really have much to do in terms of there's no character arc, the character is not too well written probably. So you're there but not there. You have a few scenes. So I understand where that comes from, but it's been a conscious decision over the last couple of years to kind of change that, which is why I didn't rush into signing too many films, just a handful of them, but I was selectively looking for really good roles. So my last film, Tangalan, a Tamil language film, which released on 15th of August, that was extremely people had such lovely things to say about my character in the film, and it's such a strong and well written female role. The character's name is Arati. She's just like out there, it's so rare to get that kind of a role in any industry at the moment, that open to like very, very positive reviews. So I'm trying to kind of change that, pick better roles, pick the better out of the lot that comes our way, right? Because so much of it is also we're making most of the opportunities that are coming our way.
Correct.
So
But I'm sure that Malavika, you are getting there, and when you work in a film industry, things are being said. Like people talk about Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, also Shah Rukh Khan, also, like you can be the biggest of celebrity and there'll be people talking about you. But as an actor, as a human being, does that ever bother you or bog you down? What people have to say?
It used to initially, which I think is very natural and happens to anyone, because no matter how much people tell you you have to be thick-skinned or don't take things personally, when you're a newcomer, when you're starting off, you do take things personally. Even now there are days we take things personally, but you know that it's never personal. Very rarely is it personal. And having said that, it's very, very important to accept constructive criticism, but you choose that wisely, right? Like now I know who I would want to take constructive criticism from my friends, from people well-intentioned colleagues in the industry, from people who know the art and craft well. But random trolling or random spiteful comments on social media is something which is not pleasant to look at, obviously, but you develop a thick skin, yeah. Like now I look at it and I'm like, oh, what a sad little person must be having a sad life and is just taking out that khunnas on, random people on social media. Like that's my psyche now. So I don't even take it personally, because it's not personal. They're just sad about their own existence, so you learn to look at it that way.
And I think once you learn to look at it that way, it stops bothering you, because then it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with the other person. But what is that one, you've been working for a long time, what is that one mean or unkind thing that maybe a casting director or a director told you that stayed with you, or you sort of thought of changing it?
I can't recall of like one particular thing, if I'm being very honest. I think it's more of what's really amusing is when you work across different industries, the idea of this ideal body type differs in every industry.
True.
In some industries, it's a little more curvy body type that's considered beautiful and attractive. The moment you come to the Hindi film industry, being very athletic and fit and very toned and very slim is what's considered more attractive. So that becomes very amusing, because if I'm like, for instance, when I had to get into shape for a certain kind of swimsuit body for the song Sathiya that we shot for Yudhra, and I was simultaneously shooting for something in Tamil, and they were just like, oh, you look nice, but you look nicer when you're a little more chubby. And then at the moment I'm a little chubby, and if I come here, they're like, oh, you look pretty, but when you were fitter earlier, that looked nicer.
Correct.
So I think that's amusing how like every industry has its own thing, which again you realize after a point that you have to deal with, like, what you need to keep in mind is the role that you're playing next, and physically doing justice to that role, and not really think about what people find attractive, because everyone will always have their own perspective towards beauty.
Correct.
You know, and it'll always change.
It will. But what do you think about that? Because, for a long, long time, actresses were forced to set unrealistic beauty standards. They were forced to look a certain way and fit a certain size. I'm so grateful today that, the younger generation is not going through that pressure. Because I remember when I was young, I didn't have a lot of role models to look up to who were sort of, a little bulky or a little chubby. And I was like, I don't have anyone to just to relate to. Then Alia Bhatt entered and Sonakshi Sinha entered, and they sort of explained their journey and how they have transformed and been through that. Today I think we are at a much easier space where acceptance is a lot more. Like when a Vidya Balan walks out, no one really talks about the weight or any of that. That's just become bullshit now. Everyone talks about talent more. Do you think it's the best way now to go forward, especially as an actress, that you all also have little less pressure now?
Firstly, I think it's great that people are accepting, you do you, right? Like, it's a very personal thing. And as society, what we can do is accept people for who they are instead of trying to shove them into this one box or one stereotype of beauty standards and beauty ideals, which I've never believed in. And like you spoke about, like, certain people's journeys, I experienced it. My first film that I ever did was in Malayalam. And that time I was in college, and I'd not even started my acting journey. It was like a one-off. It was like karke dekh lete, let me see if I enjoy this or not. And I didn't even start my journey after that. I did this one movie and then I came back, finished my college. I started assisting an ad filmmaker because I wanted to get into filmmaking. So I had like a whole graph before I got into acting properly. But I remember when I'd done that, and I was this very gawky looking girl. Like I was very thin, I was very skinny, and not like I was trying to be skinny. Look, again, like, it's like everybody's body type is very different, and mine was this very slim, slender body type. And I remember the film came out, and people were just trolling me left, right, and center, saying, she's like skin on bones, she looks so bad. And I was getting skinny shamed. And the irony is, like, har jagah pe ulta hota hai, right? We hear of fat shaming. But the point being that whether you're fat shamed, whether you're skinny shamed, making somebody feel bad about their body, that is the problematic part. Whether you're not going to feel better ki, no, I'm skinny, and people are saying bad things about me. Bullying is bullying, right? So I have experienced that, and I think experiencing that at a very young age made me, like, that was when the journey of being very thick-skinned started. And then I reached a point where it was more about, like, am I feeling healthy? Yeah. Am I working out, and am I taking care of myself? Am I, am I nourishing my body well enough? So it became more about how I felt about my body, and not so much. And of course, you're thinking about how things look on camera. All of that are basics. So of course, thinking about that, but not from a negative point of view. Not from a, oh my God, I'm too fat, I'm too thin perspective. It's like, now this is who I am. I'm a well-nourished, fit girl. And in my best, this is what I look like. And I'm okay with that. I like that. I like how I look. I'm confident in how I look. So that's always a journey. And I've been there for a while. So correct. Yeah, but the journey to getting there is definitely tricky.
Of course. But, going through that at a much, like, on a national level, everyone has watched you, and is now you are a public figure, and now they're talking about you, and you are young. Now if it happens, I'm sure you are mature enough, you're thick-skinned enough, you will just let it go, or you'll just make peace with it. But at a young age, when you're not fully developed, even mentally, to go through that on a big level, how hurtful was that, and what was your outlet? What did you do to just get over it?
It was very hurtful, and the thing is, nobody really preps you for this part of the biz, right? Like, nobody tells you ki हाँ ऐसे हो सकता है, या you have to, like, it's tough to even identify something like that. So it was a very isolating journey where you feel like this is happening only to you, and you're going through it yourself. And that time even social media was like not as prevalent as it is today. Like a few years back, it was not as prevalent. So you're not even seeing, like, now there are conversations about acceptance and accepting different body types and shutting down bullies, shutting down trolls. उस time पे वो भी हुआ नहीं करती थी. So it was a very isolating journey, which I think kind of like time healed, that's it. Like, it took me a long time to even realize I was feeling a certain way, that I was feeling bullied. Us time pe even these words we didn't know, words like bullying and like they're like
New to you, yeah.
They are we're figuring out how to use it in context like this now in the recent years.
Correct.
Earlier you didn't even know,
Yeah.
right? So that way it's good. Like today's kids, today's generation, like I've seen youngsters like call people out for like commenting on their body type, and like they're so sassy about it, which is great.
I know. I same. So I wish people were, as I also feel people have become very sensitive today, in the sense if they have something mean to say to you, they would rather just hold back and think. Majority of the people I think are inching towards that side, but yeah, unkindness is everywhere. People can be unkind to you, and I saw a recent clip of yours where you were saying that the core of you is that you are a kind person, and I do feel that about even when while talking, I do feel you are very particular about other people's feelings, and you don't want to hurt anyone intentionally. But the kind of work we're in, the industry, be the film industry, be the media industry, a lot of times we have to deal with people who are not that kind. Maybe they're having a bad time, or they're trying to give you a hard time. How do you cope with that? Because a major part of your job also is with dealing with people.
I'm still kind to them.
Lovely. Kindness never goes out of fashion. That
It
is
doesn't,
true.
and it comes very instinctually to me to be a certain way. And if I behave in a way that's not organic to me, then I feel uncomfortable in my own skin. It really matters to me to feel comfortable in my own skin. So if I am mean to somebody, or if I react to unkindness with unkindness, and that's not to say you don't stand up for yourself. You stand up for yourself. You call people out on, hey, this is not okay. But I don't believe in tit for tat. You call them out, which is in fact more unnerving for somebody who's trying to be nasty or trying to be a bully. They're more unnerved by like a blatant calling out than the whole toxic game playing or gaslighting that they would probably be used to.
Correct.
So that's the best way to deal with people like
Yeah.
that. But I do believe that like one of my something I take a lot of pride in. See, some films do well, they don't do well. You go through phases in your career where you do well, certain phases don't do well. But what really matters at the end of the day is that no matter what stage of my life I'm going through, I want to be nice to people, and it's very important to be nice to people. That's what matters in the long run. I remember the people who've been nice to me, and I think of them so fondly. And there's no agenda actually. Just be nice. That's it doesn't take a lot.
I know. This quote, that's my favorite quote, is that in a world full of nice people, if you can't find one, be one. And that is just so true. Often people want everyone to be nice. In the process, they forget maybe they are not being that nice. And that's the beginning. Like, you have to be nice no matter what. But, sometimes what really saddens me as a woman also is that हमारी इंडस्ट्री में ना एक्टर्स को कंपेयर करो, जो भी करो, वो सब इतना ज़्यादा शायद आज नहीं होता है, बट बहुत सालों से चला आ रहा है दैट actresses are always pitted against each other. I have heard that if you have two actresses on a set, oh, इनकी तो बनती नहीं. They could be best of friends. They could go have lunch together in their vanity vans, but the news will be, are they hate each other, they are jealous of each other, they are insecure of each other. And now I've been in this industry for 6 years. I've met so many actresses, and they are also lovely with each other also. When you hear such things about yourself, or maybe a co-actor of yours, how do you feel? Because gone are those days where there were female rivalries or enmity between actresses.
To be very honest, I have seen more male rivalries than female rivalries. It's just that it's easier to believe that women are cattier and all of these tabloid terms we hear, no? Women are more catty and they're more gossipy and all of that. But in all the films I've worked together, whenever there have been like multiple, male actors, they are all the ones like, no, I'm going to steal this scene. I'm going to do this unexpectedly in a shot and leave the other person, so मैंने तो ये देखा है.
True, no, that is very true. In fact, I have heard stories where the scripts have been made to be twisted because maybe the female's part was better written. So I have heard those stories also from
Yeah,
writers.
even I have heard that. Yeah, even I've heard that. That if the
Yeah.
girl does a better job, or if she's kind of overpowering in some scenes and all of that, the male actor has the power to chop at the edit table, and things like that have happened. So I've honestly witnessed a lot of insecure men, more than women. So
Has that ever happened to you personally?
no, I don't think so. I mean, I've heard stories through, via friends, but personally, no. Personally, not at all. In fact, I just worked because I just worked on Tangalan with Chian Vikram, such an iconic, fabulous actor, and he's a cheerleader. He's
Wow.
just like women can, and a lot of the scenes we had in the film, we're like physically fighting each other. Like our characters are like that. It's like physically the stick fighting, we're hitting each other, we are kicking each other. It's these face-off sequences, and he would just come and be like, you're strong, you can do it. You're so much stronger than me. So he was such a cheerleader that I've thankfully worked with some incredible men.
That's
And I
actually
hope to
rare,
continue
and
getting-
I hope you continue doing that because sometimes it doesn't have to do anything with the position. You could work with a big superstar, and in your head you would think, why would he be insecure of me? Because he has much more experience, maybe. But that's not how it works sometimes. Like the biggest of stars, sometimes I have heard that could get insecure from their female counterpart, and that has happened in films. But you have worked with some incredible men. Did you ever sense a feeling of like you mentioned that he was a cheerleader for you, when that used to happen in other sets? You have worked with Rajinikanth, so you have worked with so many people. How did that feel? Did that boost up your confidence and your energy on set?
like somebody like him encouraging?
Yes, encouraging you.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I've like I mentioned, I've worked with some really encouraging actors. I started my career in Tamil with Rajinikanth sir, and he was so sweet. He was so encouraging when he had like I said, it's the way I always look at people is everyone's nice when they have an agenda, or they have a want, or they have a need to impress that particular person. But when you're nice to somebody without an agenda, that shows your true self and your true character. Rajnikant sir was nice to me when I was like a young, fresh actor, foraying into the world of cinema, and he was so, he had such words of encouragement. He went on to tell me some really sweet things. He was like, you're gonna go so far, you're gonna become a superstar. And at that time, you're humbled, and it's just, there was no need for him to say something like that, but he was like, mark my words, you're gonna. So it gives you a lot of boost. It gives you a lot of hope in an industry which is so cutthroat and so unkind, like you rightfully said. To have encounters with such iconic people who are also kind to you means a lot, matters a lot. Then I worked with Talapati Vijay, again, a very encouraging actor. Chian Vikram. So, so I've gotten lucky so far. I hope this lucky streak continues.
I hope it continues with you because it's very important. The entire energy just shifts when you are with like-minded and right-minded people, that they just feed on to your energy and your performance also elevates. That's what I feel as a viewer. I have seen when two co-stars are fighting on set and I know about it and I go and watch their movie, I'm like, पता चल रहा है क्योंकि आपकी ना वो एनर्जी लो हो रही है, समझ आ रहा है that you are trying to steal other person's spotlight. But when I know two people are just fab with each other, they are very respectful, I go watch the movie, I'm like, yeah, that is what, it's coming out on screen, and that is what we want. We want great performances. But you have a lot of great projects coming up. You are also working with Prabhas, and everyone is just so excited because each time we have a new pairing, very few pairings have excitement before the release. अभी तक इतना कुछ announce नहीं हुआ, फिर भी there is so much excitement about you and Prabhas working together. How's that been? How has he been as a co-star?
He's been absolutely lovely. He is he's this great energy to have on set. Where again, he has the sweetest thing to say, and he's always feeding you really yummy food. So the moment you're in Hyderabad, you're shooting, you feel so like
Yeah.
khana is such a loving, warm way to like welcome somebody, into your city, into your industry. And he would send the most lovely food, and so it's been like a lovely experience. So you don't feel that you're working with one of India's biggest stars. That's the energy he creates. Like, he's a great listener, he's a great conversationalist, he's so humble. So and it's a very exciting, fun genre as well that we're working on. It's not a very serious film.
Correct.
So it's fun on sets. It's a lot of great conversations. We're finishing the film in a couple of months, and it'll be out soon. So that's a fun one. I'm really looking forward to that one.
Same here. I often hear actors say that it's very difficult to find your people in the film industry. सब आपके friends नहीं बनते. You work with them, they are your colleagues, and you move on. But very few people remain your friends. Who are those friends for you? I'm sure you have friends outside the industry who are like your people. But if I ask you from the film fraternity, if you have earned some friends, who would they be?
I have a very cordial and good relationship with most of the people I worked with. But friend, it's very. I feel like the moment when you're working on a film, it's like a bubble. You're in that bubble, and उस time के लिए वो आपकी दुनिया बन जाती है, and it's very, you get carried away into that world, but then you move from that bubble into another bubble. So you're so right about the fact that it's very hard to like permanently have like friends you can. I'm close to because most of my films have been in Tamil. I'm close to Talapati Vijay. I'm close to Vikram. So I would say both of them are good friends.
That's great. I read somewhere that you and Vicky Kaushal were neighbors or something. Is
Oh, I
that
don't
true?
even count him an industry friend, but yes, he's a very close.
because
Because he's
maybe,
been in my life since Vicky is not Vicky the actor for me, He's my oldest friend actually. Yes, so it's not like somebody I met at work and became friends with, right? So that's not the name that comes to my head. But he's my oldest friend. We were neighbors when we were growing up. We lived in the same building, and I've known him since I was 1.
Wow.
He was older, obviously,
Yeah.
but my oldest friend.
Wow, he's also one of those people जिसको success ने change नहीं किया है. You see a lot of actors, they get successful and then something in them changes.
Yeah, I love him. I
But
love that about
yeah.
him. I love that he doesn't take himself too
So
seriously.
seriously, yeah.
And I mean
Yeah.
that in the sense that he takes his work seriously, of course. He takes his craft seriously.
Yeah.
But he doesn't, after he's, out of the movie world, like he's so easygoing. He's always cracking jokes. He's silly. He's funny. And he's so humble. I don't think he thinks of himself also as a star the moment he's out of
That is so
work.
true. But today, when I look at you, there has been a journey. You have given some of the best performances in the recent past, and people are talking about it. People are appreciating you as an actor today. They are looking at your craft and your talent. But there must have been a phase that you would have, an actor's life is not easy. It's filled with ups and downs. But was there a phase where there were replacements, or where there were rejections in your career, and it maybe sort of made you feel that maybe this is not for me, or I want to take a step back?
Thankfully, no replacements ever. That's a harsh one,
Yeah.
no? That is that would have been a hard-hitting one. But no replacements. I think just like every aspiring actor goes through this journey of kind of like cracking your first film, cracking like a film with a maker you always wanted to work with. The step number 1 is to crack a movie. Step number 2 is to crack consecutive movies.
Yeah.
Then step number 3 is to now start cracking the kind of roles you want to do, with the kind of makers you want to do. So it's always in phases that your ambitions and aspirations also keep evolving. Like right now I'm at a stage where I want to work with, I'm working across multiple industries. I'm working with some of the biggest directors, opposite some of the biggest actors in the country. So now I want to start working with the kind of directors I've always, admired. Mani Ratnam, Zoya Akhtar, Rajamouli. Like there are so many in the list. But I think getting like the initial few breaks and breakthroughs, I would say that has been the challenge, which is for everyone.
Which is, yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
But it's very funny that a lot of times same happened. Actually, we were just talking about Vicky and Sunny, both of them. Their father belongs to the film industry, same as yours, but I know for a matter of fact that all three of you have carved your own way. There has no like these tags that get associated with you. That's not really happened in a very conventional manner for you or for the other two I mentioned, because you all have just created a journey for yourself. How do you see this entire debate of someone coming from a film background or someone not coming and it being easy? Because I know it's not been that easy.
See, I'll simplify it for you. The only thing that helps is if you're a star kid. Otherwise, if your father is a cinematographer or an action director or a choreographer, it does not. If it helped, then I would have gotten my break or my first Hindi film so much sooner. Same with Vicky. He would have he waited for a long time till he got Masan. He would have cracked it so much sooner. And I think that comes from naturally. It comes from the fact that there is a lot of even the people are curious to see a so and so's daughter or a so and so's son. There's a natural curiosity, so they become bankable in some form. They become sellable in some form, which doesn't happen if you're it happens only with star kids. That's it, which is okay. But I'm just saying that's the nature of the industry.
True. No, that makes sense what you just said, because I feel it happens in every industry. It doesn't happen.
Of course.
If I feel if my father had a big media company, I would go and take that ahead, right? I wouldn't do a job at someone else's company. But it's just sad that because actors are spoken about on a public level, on a much bigger level, they go through that scrutiny much more. But Malavika, ending this conversation on a happy note. Today, when you look back at your journey, and today, when you have achieved quite a lot of things, I'm sure there's a lot you want to achieve even today. Is there a sense of pride in you? Because I'm sure every loyal fan of yours who's stuck by you since day one feels that level of pride when they watch you on screen today.
I don't look at things like that because I feel like I have such a long way to go that I actually feel like I'm just getting started and I'm finally at a phase where I'm doing this, that. The momentum is so much right now, and doing some of the, some of the biggest films in the country, to be a part of something like that. I feel like I've hit the sweet spot right now in terms of, the kind of work I want to do. So hopefully it's only uphill from here. So I don't look at it that way. I feel like there's more thirst than anything else. But I hope to not disappoint my fans and to make them happy.
I'm sure upwards and onwards only for you. But thank you so much for this conversation, and we hope to see you in the biggest of films, because I know you're meant for them.
Thank you. How sweet. Thank you. Hi, this is Malavika Mohanan and you're watching me on Galatta, India.
South India's #1 travel brand. You know you are special when you're with GT Holidays.
Milky Mist Premium Ice Cream.